I never really saw horrible decisions as this tens and tens of $1 million thing. So in my head, I needed to branch out more and more and more. I can't be in the room with millionaires all the time and working with them and not want to have my million. You know what I mean? And watching OnlyFans girls that I'm interviewing get fucking millions and millions. You and Lena, be nasty. Like, how am I going to do it? And like, now that I see how people use their brand and keep branching, that's really what made me want to open shit up. Like, I can only talk and suck dick for so long, bro. I'm gonna get tired of this shit.
That's what I actually kind of find impressive about your podcast is that you guys stay excited and interested about it, because a lot of times when I'm watching like fucking different podcasts in the hip hop sort of realm, I'm like, can y'all just stop talking about dating, like the politics of dating, or like, oh, do you think that when a guy goes out that he should pay for the girl's food? It's like,
dude,
oh
I
my
can't
God,
hear that one more time.
are you guys really gonna fucking talk about this again? Oh my God. Like, I know I'm 37, so it's just an old conversation to me. Maybe if you're 21, it's a lot more interesting, but I just feel like so much of this relationship talk is so boring in the podcast world now.
It is. And I think that we need to start, if we're, what Mandy and I are able to do, because people thought we would run out a long time, we keep reinventing that conversation with new people. I've had how many threesomes, how many threesome conversations. Mandy's talked about the sex club over and over, but we can keep bringing people and their experiences, and that's new and exciting. Like, we just interviewed a couple, a black dude and an Asian chick, about their cuckold relationship and him watching her and how they met. Like, that shit is interesting. Yes, we've told you what a cuckold is before, but now we're seeing it with them. And then maybe we might bring another one and their dynamic is different. And when you can bring on people to share their journey, it's the same shit. You have a music pod, right?
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I would say like music, society, culture, whatever the genre
music,
is.
but yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's the rappers over and over, but something's different with each one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like hoes, but they like fucking a new Tristan Thompson every week, so.
It's true. But like, okay, like, I really enjoyed the Kevin Samuels interview we did, but I just can't listen to another evaluation of another woman's dating situation. Like,
You had Kevin Samuels on?
Yeah. And I
think he's a terrible person.
Okay, we can talk about that. But I just have a lot of friends who like watch this shit over and over. And I'm like, bro, at a certain point, don't you feel like you've just learned enough about like unhappy women who are like having a hard time dating?
It's not like, if the clips at first to me, like they were jarring to see, but like building a brand on shitting on black girls, like I don't like that.
You really think that's what it is though?
100%. I think some of the advice has been, I would say conducive, but like for the most part, like no, your most viral and salacious shit is really talking about women badly.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't like that. Like,
but don't you think that like the women that he's shitting on, like they deserve it?
No.
Really?
No, I don't.
I think like the point that I was so easily able to call from the Kevin Samuels thing was just like, these women are being raised to not understand what the fuck is going on. Like they just really
telling girls they're fat, looking like a linebacker, shit like that. Like that's fucking nuts.
The women that he says that to are the women who think that they're gonna get some. Like I've seen these women who are like 300 pounds saying that they deserve a guy who's making $1 million a year and shit. And it's like, that's not gonna happen for you. Like you are crazy for thinking that this is how the world works. And for him to have to even tell them that is pretty shocking to me.
It's just shocking to watch him speak that way because I don't really see the caliber of woman he could get. Like I don't find
But why does it have to go to that right away? I think the thing that's shocking
it goes to that right away because you do need to be exemplary of what you're saying to people. I'm not listening. That's what the Donald Trump bullshit was.
Right, but he dresses very well.
You can't tell us how we need to be a country that's this, this, and that when your shit is fucked up and you could barely be eloquent.
Right.
Like don't tell me that I deserve a person who looks like this when like Kevin Samuels is 6.5, 7.
Right, but the thing about Ken Samuels is that it's not about him. It's like, number one, like, yes, he dresses nice and he came in here with an attractive woman and stuff. So he's doing what he can to paint the picture. But I think that the main thing that his content points out is just how women have had their hand held through life so much and are so not used to being told what's real. And on the other hand, it's like, if you're a fat dude who's ugly and is not going to get any pussy, I mean, it's just, the world is lining up to let you know that you ain't shit. And a lot of these women, they
fat guys get fucked. That's not true.
They figure it out at like 35 that they're just not, the world is just not as accommodating as they've been told their whole life. And now we have Kevin Samuels to let them know. And I think that he's actually doing important work.
I can't wait for Dr. Umar to get his ass. I really hope they get him.
But Dr. Umar is living in a fantasy world. Kevin talks about real shit.
How is Dr. Umar in a fantasy?
because he kind of relies on these like fake arguments too of being like, you say mean things to black women. It's not really about
No,
that.
Dr. Umar is like way deep. Mind you, he's super homophobic, and I can't even believe I'd be sticking up for him like this. But like,
Right.
I have really seen Dr. Umar for the good in what he's taught people about blackness, that I fuck with him for it. I think like when I'm making the Dr. Umar Kevin Samuels joke, I really just want someone to see Kevin Samuels. Like I want to see someone really tell him about himself, because I think he needs that. I'm not that person to do that. You're not that person to do that. But Dr. Umar, I think, could really tear his ass the fuck up.
Maybe. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that the arguments that I heard from that viral video about Kevin Samuels, I just didn't think that's not going to hold any weight. If they're going head to head in a debate, I just think Kevin's going to wash the floor with him, because it's so much more ground level perspective of how we actually know that people operate.
It's just the message that he's giving. He's not really telling you like you need to like, you know, put your standards in check. He's really like shitting on these girls to the point where he's like, this is what you deserve. And
but
I think
those are the women who call in and ask for relationship advice. So it's kind of hard for me to like I agree, if you were to just choose a random woman in the public eye and just start rating her dating possibilities, that would be very like bad.
I mean, in a way, it's like the Jerry Springer shit, right? It's like, yo, why do they go on this show
Right.
when they watch every week and they know they about to look crazy?
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe it's hard for me because of the age. Maybe because they're black women. Like, I just feel like every clip I've seen when he's shitting on a girl, they're black. And like, that's really hard for me to watch.
I feel like that's just his audience, because I feel like he would be eager to talk shit to a white woman.
It might. You think so?
I don't really see, like, I don't think it's like racialized, besides the fact that he just has a largely black audience.
Well, I just mean the viral clips of like, you know, you calling girls ugly. Like they're always.
And believe me, he takes it way too far. He says the rudest, most fucked up shit I could ever think
That's
of.
what I mean.
And he knows that he's doing that, and he's going to get extra media attention from his audience for like.
But see, Howard Stern, a Charlemagne, people like that can make those moments happen without being that disgusting. That's talent. What Kevin Samuels is doing is just like mean. The way that you can bring out things to people and either get them a little riled up or angry or whatever, like that's not you really, really shitting on someone for this fucking moment. That kind of shit, I don't really like that.
I would never want to be in the position of having to do the kind of content that Kevin Samuels does. But actually, that's why I think it's almost kind of like brave, because Charlemagne like would never speak to a woman on his show that way. Granted, he doesn't interview just like random ass women who have nothing going for him. But I feel like he has too much of a career. He knows that his career would probably fucking torpedo if he said that kind of shit. The point, though, I think, is just to be real, just be honest.
But Charlemagne doesn't need to do that.
But don't you think we're in a society that really disincentivizes being honest?
Is honesty calling someone a linebacker?
I mean, if she's the size of a linebacker, then I mean, she's a linebacker, right? I mean,
I feel bad, bro. Like
nobody would ever get on a woman's ass for saying the same thing to a fat man. Basically, is what I would say about that.
The way that he shits on people, I don't know, bro. And I feel like fat guys get fucked, bro. Like I fuck chunky dudes. Like,
I know the world is set up unfairly for sure.
It is, because I started to look past it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd be like, all right, he's funny.
Yeah.
I like your car.
We all know. I mean, we just interviewed these dudes. I don't know if you know about them yet. The Fresh and Fit podcast.
Earn Your Leisure literally called me and they're like, you have to go on this podcast. Are they out of Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about them.
If you hate Kevin Samuels, you'll really hate these guys.
Oh, that's probably why they want me on there. Why? What do they do?
Well, they had like an analogy that I thought was pretty compelling, the candy shop analogy.
Okay.
And it's basically the idea that, you know, because like a lot of women will like not understand why a guy in his who's 35 or 40 or whatever will want to be doing all this house shit. They'll be like, I have it out of my system by that age, so why are you on that time now?
They just started making money?
Well, yeah, because like he said, he was picture a candy store, and like some people can go into the candy store when they're 18, and then some people are only allowed to go into the candy store once they're 35.
I'm not mad at that analogy.
The second group is men, because realistically, like as a man, and this just made sense of my life to me so much, because like I knew that things didn't feel right for me when I was like 18, 19, because I knew I just couldn't like get like the hottest girl in the club or whatever. It's because as a man, you have no value until you do something with your life, until you earn some money, until you make something out of yourself. Whereas with a woman, I mean, her market value is probably the highest when she's like 18 to 21.
Her market value, you think? I think it's got to be at least mid-20s, dude.
I mean, yeah, definitely can hold out to the mid-20s for sure. But like, you know, women get to enter the candy store at 18. And guys really like, if you go to the club at 18 and you don't have anything going for yourself, you're not in the game yet.
I don't think that's Kevin Samuels bad. I agree with that analogy. I 100% understand when men that start getting money go through that fucking midlife crisis weird shit when they start, like, I get it because your access changes. Like from a low level of describing this, right? Like, I noticed recently, like, I never thought I'd want to buy like an expensive watch or jewelry. I always thought that stuff was stupid, but just because I didn't have money like that.
Yeah, I know it's easy to say that when you don't have money, right?
When like tens, like, I don't want to say it like that because like sometimes I really try to keep myself in check and have some humility here. But like at the same time, like a few $1,000s on shit, it really ain't nothing to me no more. Like it really isn't. So when I'm buying that stuff, I'm doing it more, and I'm like, why am I suddenly having the taste to buy this or that? And I'm not talking about like a Gucci bag. I'm talking about a Gucci t-shirt with just the label inside, just chill shit. Why am I doing that for me? Right. And it's because I can. And I couldn't before, and now I have that access. And that's just men with pussy.
And I did that at first too. Like I bought a fucking chain, I bought a grill, I bought a bunch of designer shit. And then like, though I wouldn't even say it made me not that much happier. I would say it actually made me less happy to have that shit in my life and to sort of like carry around, like have something on you that sort of represents your status. Like, what am I, a fucking king or something? I just can't get into it.
Big chains, yes, but I think there are little money things we all need that make us feel good. I live in New York, so a car isn't really it for me, but you know, I have to get a place in LA now.
Where you stay, I could totally understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because someone made a comment to me about where I stay, and she's like, you're bougie. And we know, she's like, I have a loft. I live in the Lower East Side. My studio's in Soho. Mm-hmm. And 100%, I got that studio in Soho on purpose because I know what it means to have that shit. Like, it was cheaper to get it in Brooklyn, but I know what the fuck a black-owned studio in Soho means. And my partner got it too. Like, I want to be that bitch that has that. And it is location. You know what I mean? Like,
in New York, 100%, yeah.
It 100% does. And so the LA thing, right, with the car, watch, small things. Like, I've been driving around a Camry for the past few days. I mean, I don't live here, right? And I was like, yo, I gotta get a G-Wagon. Like, I gotta get some nice shit. I can't be pulling up the fucking bungalow or Soho House and this shit.
And that's what's funny too, is that like you're not from here, so everyone 100% knows it's a rental, but it doesn't matter. Everybody just gets it.
Dude, people are saying that. Is that true?
What?
Like they know it's a rental because it's not like.
Well, why would you have something? Well, you're gonna ship your car from New York City to here for the weekend?
No, but like I feel like people that have seen me get out of that car like, oh, where are you from? Like, how you know I don't live here because it's a Camry?
Does it have dealer plates or something? I don't know.
I don't know. It just fucking looks like it's a gold one. It's champagne. It look like you don't fit. But no, like I see the need for a nice car here. Right. And I know that that's ridiculous to say because I should be past trying to show off. But I really think I'd feel good if the car looked better. Yeah. Like I was kind of wondering where I should park in your shit.
Well, but my girl, honestly, though, is on the opposite side of the spectrum where like, I've like tried to tell her like you should just get a nicer car because this car is just kind of fucking gross, and like she just doesn't, she like refuses, and she makes this obscene amount of money, and I'm just like, you know, I'm telling her, I'm like, I had a bum ass car for a long time and now I have a nicer car, and I'm totally not a car guy, but I will say that it definitely improves my quality of life for that percentage of my day. It does.
And also, but we all have our vice. That might not be Lena's vice. Like mine, it's travel and it's like experiences. Like I'm at this point now, Adam, I want to stop so bad. I'm not even kidding. I get to the club and if I'm not getting in, I'm buying a table. Bitches don't buy tables. But for some reason, I feel like I put my big fucking pussy in front of your face and every dude's wondering why the fuck bitches are in my shit. And I don't know why, but it's like feeding me and I eat it up. It's so stupid. Right. I should not be buying a table. But I do it because it makes me feel good.
How much are we talking?
I mean, you know, like
5,
a little under.
Okay, that's one thing. I'm permanently scarred because I listened to this podcast, which I've now mentioned like 5 times on air. So I totally apologize to everyone who's heard this. But I was listening to academics talk about going to the club in Miami, and the fucking rich billionaire kid who's like trying to be 6ix9ine's friend spent $80,000 on 2 tables for like 3 hours total at 2 different clubs.
Different, Adam. When you're a billionaire, like. When I'm 100,000aire, okay? So when you've got that much, it's nothing. Like think about how you pay for convenience right now. I was just saying this shit to Kenya the other day about how we were both talking about how we're living off a different amount of money now and can't go back. And I ain't rich like him, or I'm not making as much money as Lena probably, right? So like, it's really, I told him, I was like, yo, I paid $100 to get an iPhone charger here in an hour. I was like, you know how fucking insane that is? Like, I could have just walked to that Rite Aid and get it for $10, but I didn't want to move, and I wanted to hear it right now, and I wanted him to come inside and give it to me. Paying for convenience like that is starting to happen to me, and that shit is wild. I don't know when that shift happened, but that's the money shit. That billionaire, to just have that conversation or that access or be a fan, that was nothing to him.
Yeah.
It's just like where the money is.